request the host to like proceed with the meeting. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm great, ma'am.
I'm a little unwell, like since past few days, and I just hope that I'm able to pull it off very well. When do we start?
At 12 o'clock sharp, ma'am.
All right, done.
Hello, Apoorva ma'am. Over to you.
Hi everyone. I hope I have a good audience. So today I'm going to switch on my camera in some time. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay, let's start. So hey, hello everyone. A warm welcome from Let's Be Eloquent. So I'm Apoorva Agarwal, your masterclass host for the day. So Let's Be Eloquent has collaborated with Mitti Ke Rang to do this workshop today on how to ace an interview. For all the participants out there, it is a very important workshop. Why? Because interviews now form a very indispensable part of our lives. We can't get away from this process no matter how much the world progresses, no matter how many new techniques come in. You have to give an interview to get a job. You have to give an interview to to be in the career game. But the competition has increased so much that everybody is trying to be over the edge of someone, that we need to learn the skills of cracking an interview. Like, how can you crack it? How can you be better than the rest? And this is what we are going to discuss today. So today we're going to discuss in detail how you can ace an interview. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. A lot has been spoken already, but I'm Apoorva Agarwal. I'm a lawyer and an entrepreneur. I fit well to take a masterclass on this particular subject. Why? Because I deal with both the sides. I have given a lot of interviews and I also take interviews, like I recruit people. So that is what makes me fit to share this, my experience with all of you about how you can ace an interview. This is a masterclass for 1 hour, and I want all the points to be very short and crisp. So I would request you to make notes so that you can take leads from it. Now, what exactly is an interview? Now, interview for everyone, it is basically when you get to interact with the employee, right? You get to talk to the employee, and your assessment is done by the employee so that to know whether you're fit for the job or not. So when it comes to preparing for an interview, there is a whole research process that goes before you even apply for a job. So now the first and the basic principle of clearing an interview or acing an interview is prepare well. Pre-prep pointers. Pre-prep pointers. What are pre-prep pointers? Pre-prep pointers are basically all the preparation that goes before you actually appear for an interview, which includes preparing your CV or resume very well. Now, the basic difference that is between a CV and a resume is CV is an elaborate or a detailed description of your profile, and resume is a brief description of your profile. So you have to prepare your CV or resume very well, because that is the first document that goes in front of the interviewer. So when I have to hire someone, सबसे पहले मेरे पास आपका CV और resume आता है. That CV or resume has to be very good to ensure that firstly you get a call for an interview. So preparation for CV and resume, you have to prepare your CV and resume according to the industry standards. Then once your CV and resume is prepared, and whatever CV and resume you have submitted for that particular job, you need to analyze and know everything and anything about your CV. Whatever you have put in the resume, whatever you put in that CV, you must know everything. Do not lie, first of all. Do not lie anything in your CV, something which you can't justify when your interview is being taken. But whatever you put in your CV, that has to be true and that has to be known to you. Like, you should know that this is what I have done before. That is the key. So once you're preparing for an interview, quickly take a copy of your CV, sit and start reading your CV. Prepare questions from the CV or from the resume, because that is from where you will be asked. Do not put anything in the CV which you can't justify or which you think is basically a lie or something which you have put in only to make it look attractive. No. CV, अच्छे से prepare करिए, make questions out of it. Then one of the most important thing is, I don't know if a lot of you know, there's this thing called job description. So every job comes with a description. So for example, tomorrow there is an opening in a company called XYZ. They say that we need to hire an employee. Then how will you know what do they want? You go to the job description. So the job description says we need an employee with 2 years of experience, correct? We need someone who has done graduation. We need someone who is this year of age. So you know, okay, fine, this is the job description of the company. To apply for this company, I need to, you know, qualify these points. So you do the anatomy of the job description. You take down the points of the job description while you're preparing for an interview. So that when you go for an interview and aapse pucha jata hai, why do you think you're fit for the job? You will say that, sir, your job interview states that you require someone with these skills. I qualify these skills and that makes me fit for the job. So job description of any job is very important point of preparation, pre-preparation when you're applying for an interview. So two things that you have to keep in mind. And number one, your CV, research your CV in and out. Research your CV very well. Whatever you have written on the CV, you must be able to justify. Don't lie anything in your CV or resume. Number two, analyze, anatomy of the job description. Your job description has to be very well researched. You need to write down the points. Okay, fine, these are the points my job requires. How many points do I qualify? That is the most important thing. Because if you go for an interview and then you're blank and you don't know what exactly they're looking for, then it's a full chop for you. I don't think they will be able to hire you. So two things: CV, research your CV, a resume very well, and number two, research the job description very well. Now, where will I find the job description? Generally, wherever you will find the openings, you will find the job description. So in newspaper, on the company websites, that is where you will find the job description. In case you're unable to find the job description, please call the HR and ask that, I got to know that there is an opening of this particular position. Can you please tell me or share with me the job description of the same? And the company is going to share with you. A lot of us even apply for these fellowship programs and all, and they come with elaborate job descriptions. So never miss a job description before applying for an interview, because it is the most important part. The interview does not want to waste his or her time. They want people who they want to come and appear for the interview. Now that is very important. Now you're ready. You have researched your CV very well. You have done the job description very well. And now you're like, I'm now ready for the interview. What next? Now, the next part is start preparing for the basic questions of an interview. What are basic interview questions? From what's your name to why do you want to be a part of the company are the basic interview questions. I'll share some basic interview questions with you. Describe yourself. Why do you think you're fit for the job? How much salary are you expecting? And tell us about some of your good or bad qualities. Describe yourself in few words. Why do you think we should hire you? Why do you think you are fit for the job? Where do you see yourself in another 5 years? Why are you leaving your previous jobs? What is the reason that you're looking for a job in this sector? How can you be an asset to the company? So these are the basic interview questions which we have to prepare. And trust me, you are majorly judged by how you answer these basic interview questions. Now, why? एक simple logic है, and there is a simple thinking thought process behind it. जो चीज हमें बहुत अच्छे से पता है and something that we know, अगर हम उसको ही अच्छे से present नहीं कर पाएंगे, then it proves that we are not very well aware of what we want to do. अगर मैं अपना description ही अच्छे से नहीं दे पाऊंगी, if I'm not able to tell someone about myself confidently, how will I be able to take up other roles of a job? That is why preparing for this basic interview questions is very important. Why? Because, for example, you meet someone. ठीक है, आप किसी से मिले, आपने उससे पूछा आपका नाम क्या है, and the person like मेरा नाम, and then you're like, अरे, this is something you must know. अगर आप यही चीज confidently नहीं बता पाओगे, then how will you handle the rest? That is why fumbling, what is fumble? On the basic interview questions is not accepted in the interview part. You have to prepare your questions very well, and there is a common answer to it. It's SNA that there are very very different answers to all these basic interview questions. This is one time mehnat. You have to sit down and write answers to all the basic interview questions. Now let us start. The first and the most basic interview question that is asked from everyone is, tell us about yourself. Right? I think I'm very clear. Now, tell us about yourself is a very crucial question, and you must know how to answer it properly. Always begin about telling about yourself. Never start by saying myself. Myself is wrong English. You'll also say, I'm Apoorva Agarwal. I'm a lawyer. Or you can say, I'm a BCom graduate, or anything. Like, tell your position. Tell your position very clearly to the interviewer. And I'm looking for a job in this particular sector. This is what I wish to do. Do not start saying things about what your father does, what your mother does, what your sibling does, from where all you did your college or schooling. No, stick to the point. So if I am asked, Apoorva, tell me something about yourself, I would say that I'm Apoorva Agarwal. I'm a lawyer. I'm Apoorva Agarwal. I'm 28 years old, a lawyer and an entrepreneur. I come from a small town from Uttar Pradesh, that is Bareilly. I wish to be a part of this job because this. So that is how you describe yourself. You don't go about saying, I'm Apoorva Agarwal, I'm 28 years old, I stay in Bareilly, my father's name is this, my mother's name is this. No. You can always say, like, I come from a family of businessmen, or I come from a family of professionals. And you have to make your introduction very crisp. Because agar wahi pe you lose track of your audience, then the other part of the interview would not be that fruitful. So describe yourself is very, very important. What I will do with all of you is, all the participants, that I will share some of the basic answers to these questions with Mehak, and probably she can circulate to all the people who participated. I think that would be great for you to understand or to get some examples of how to answer the basic interview questions. Now, another basic interview questions, what are your strengths and your weakness? Always remember, and please remember, don't go about saying words which are very common. I'm very hardworking, I'm very laborious. No, nobody wants to listen to that. So you have to make your strengths which are very beneficial for the company. What is your strength? For example, if asked me, I would say that it is my strength that I can multitask very well. I can take up projects, 2-3 projects, and work on the same projects with same level of dedication. At least I can try. And that is one of my biggest strengths. Now, if they ask you, what is your weakness? Make your strength your weakness. What can be your weakness? Don't say that I'm very rude, I don't like to work under stress, I don't like a very stressful environment, or I don't like a very political or manipulative environment. No, your weakness has to be your strength again. What do you mean by that? We mean that you're going to say that my weakness is that I multitask, and sometimes when I multitask, it gets difficult for me to gel well with people in my team, because a lot of them cannot. So you don't have to be black and white. You don't have to say, my weakness is that I can't work under stress, or my strength is that I'm very hardworking. Don't use such terms. Try to make your answers very well. Okay, now to everyone present here, you please feel free to write down your questions and send them to me, because I understand that आपके दिमाग में जब questions आते हैं, then the questions come the moment you're actually listening to a particular topic. So feel free to shoot your questions to me and I'll answer all of them. So far we have discussed the importance of preparing your basic interview questions very well. Do not state the obvious and the cliche terms, hardworking, laborious, in your answers. Another thing, if you are asked about your previous job, if you're asked why do you want to leave your previous job and come, please remember and always remember, never say anything bad about your previous job. It's a big no. Because why? अगर आप अपनी पुरानी जॉब के बारे में अपने नए रिक्रूटर से कुछ गलत कह सकते हो, सो आप इन फ्यूचर ऑल्सो इस रिक्रूटर के बारे में पुरानी वाली जॉब के बारे में बुरा बोल सकते हो. So you have to be very careful when you are when they ask you as to why you want to quit or why you want to change your job. Then you tell them the reason I want to make a shift is considering my growth perspective. I wish to explore the industry that I am in. I don't want to stick to one place. And I think it will be a wonderful opportunity for me to work in a company like yours. And they would say that, did you have any problem in your previous jobs that you're quitting? You would say, no, I was very much happy for my previous, with my previous job, with my previous employee, but it's only with respect to the growth perspective that I come to you to look for another job. So that is what is the rule. Do not ever say anything wrong about your previous job. In an interview, do not ever say anything wrong or any lie. Because if you get caught, then they will not take the pain of doing an interview again. So if you say something, I can do this, I can do that, but you actually don't know, you say, मैंने तो ये करा हुआ है, I've done this, I've done that, I've done these certification courses, I've done this thing, but you've not done any, then it is wrong. Because there are a lot of chances that you might get caught, because the people who are taking your interview are very experienced people. They know. Okay. Now, this is what the fun part. In the recent from which source students should prepare for interviews? The only source from which students should prepare for an interview is through their own resume. Please do not go and look after videos of how you can prepare for an interview. You have to practice, and practice. How can you practice? You stand in front of the mirror, say aloud the answers that you have prepared. But don't go and watch YouTube videos and other sources of how to crack an interview. See, whatever tips I'm sharing with you are also just tips. This is just basic guidance that, this is what it is. ऐसे आप prepare करो. But आपको आंसर कैसे बोलना है, किस बॉडी लैंग्वेज में बोलना है, किस पोस्चर में बोलना है, that is up to you to prepare. You have to present your personality and not something that you have copied from anywhere. So there is no source of preparation. The source of preparation is exactly your resume and the job description. Ma'am, my question is, why should I hire you? Now, to answer that, this is a very, very important question. Why should I hire you? के लिए आपको job description पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. So, for example, I'll give you an example. I'm a lawyer. I go to XYZ company for an interview. When I was applying for XYZ company, I read in their job description that they need an associate, a lawyer, a legal associate with 2 years of experience, graduation in BA or BB LLB. Fourth, with experience in working in real estate matters. 5, with a current interest in this particular field. So I go to them. Now I go to XYZ company and the question comes to me, Apoorva Agarwal, why should we hire you? What should I say? What will I say? The correct answer will be that, take hints from it, don't ever copy the answer. So say that, sir, first of all, while applying for the job at XYZ for a position of a legal associate, I read the job description, which clearly stated that you need someone with 2 years of experience in the real estate, graduation in BBLLB. Considering I fit well for these roles is one of the prime reasons why I think you should hire me. Number 2, I am looking for a job from a growth perspective. I have all this experience with me that your job description requires. Above that, I have an unthinking urge to do better for your team, that the field that your team works. So I will be, in my opinion, a very valuable asset for your company. And that is the reason why you should hire me. Why should we hire you? Why you are fit for the job is because आपने जो जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया था, आपकी कंपनी ने जो जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन निकाला था, उस जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन में मैं क्वालिफाई करता हूँ. And that is why I'm fit for the job. So that is the most important thing. Ma'am, I'm preparing some CMA articleship. Can you tell me something about how to go about the interview? Okay, this we'll take at the last. How can we get the mock interview preparation? Mock interview preparation, you can contact me if you want. I do take classes for mock interview preparation. You can just send me your CV. I will prepare questions out of your CV and I will take your mock interview. Else, what you can do is that you can always get in touch with someone experienced, someone you know. Give your CV to them, ask them, prepare as many questions as possible from my CV, and let's do an interview setup, and let's just do a mock interview. That is what you can practice. Describe yourself in one line or one word. Okay, now when you're posed with questions like one line or one word, do not say words like hardworking or laborious or something like that. So if ever asked me that, Apoorva, describe yourself in one line or one word, I would say this is something that, it depends from person to person, but I would say inquisitive and motivated. That is what I would say. I'm very inquisitive. Inquisitive means I like to do new things, experiment with new things, and I'm very motivated. I work towards my goal. And that is what I would not say hardworking and laborious. Try to find synonyms of that. Use different words. Because जैसे आप बोलोगे ना, sir, I'm very hardworking, the attention drops. They're like, अरे यार हर कोई यही बोलता है. Okay, so make your answers different. Can we say growth oriented person? Now this line is also used a lot. Don't say growth oriented person. You can say that I am very career driven, or you can say I'm very growth driven, or you can say I am very now see, when you say I'm a very growth oriented person, it encompasses a lot of things, right? So growth oriented person in what sense? So you have to be very crisp and very, very articulate about your answer when you're coming with a description of one line. So let me just write it down and I'll share some examples with you. Describe in one line. So you can say inquisitive and what did I say? Motivated and things like that, but avoid using the cliche terms. Okay, then there are so please repeat the section. Why should we hire you? I'll tell you that one. How do you deal with a conflict with a coworker? This question is not related to an interview, but if you do have a conflict with your coworker and that is the reason why you're leaving the job, it is better to not mention in your new job, because how does that matter? Then your new job recruiter is not going to go back to your coworker and tell you, na, dekho maine isko hire kar liya hai, so you be nice to him. How do I generate a CV? You never generate a CV. All the students out there, you never generate a CV. The only way you generate a CV is from your brain. You write down whatever you've learned, and that's how you make a CV. Please stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for videos of how to answer an interview. What answers you have to make an interview. How you can easily feed information and एक CV निकल कर आ जाएगा. That is not how it works. Because trust me, people who are taking your interviews are people who are very experienced and they like to work in an old-fashioned way. They will catch you if you do this. So be very careful. Don't like look for shortcuts. In the recent interviews, we are questioned as per the MNC pattern, which includes detailing of diverse topics. How do we answer that? So when you have to detail on a particular topic, don't speak whatever you're required to speak very crisply. Okay, now someone who has asked me this question, can you tell me the exact question that was asked? You can just write down the exact question that you were asked and I'll tell you how to answer it. Also, one more thing that you have to keep in mind is, while preparing these basic interview questions, see, there are very limited sites on the internet that have answers to these basic interview questions. So when you're deciding or framing answers of these basic interview questions, do not go to these sites, because there's a lot of possibility that a lot of people will have same answers to those questions. So that is the most important thing. When you are preparing for a basic interview questions, try to frame your own answers and then correct their English, rather than going to any particular website and copy pasting answers from that. Because a lot of people are rooting through that source and they will use the exact same answer. So try to frame answer on your own. So that is that is a very important thing. Now, as a fresher, you have nothing much on your CV or your resume, and you have to appear for an interview. What should we do? See, I'll tell you what. Interview is a lot about your body language and how you present it. When you are going to an interview as a fresher, ये बात आप समझ लीजिए that the person who is taking your interview also knows that you're a fresher. That person knows that this person is fresh out of college. So they will ask you accordingly. In that case, if you're a fresher, your basic interview questions have to be prepared extremely well, because आपसे पूछने के लिए उनके पास वही सब होगा. They will not have a lot of industry related questions to ask you, but only the basic questions, and that you have to prepare like extremely well. That is the key. How much project matter in interview? See, I'll tell you again, I will keep on focusing on this aspect. Job description. If your job description states that they are looking for people who should have done a particular project or should have experience in working on a project, then it does matter. It does matter a lot. So in my opinion, working on a project does matter a lot. Very basic question, for example, difference between effect and affect. A lot of such questions are asked. See, you go to my page, Let's Be Eloquent. There is a whole video that I have on what is the difference between effect or affect. For an interviewer, just a second. For an interviewer, that is a playground. वो कुछ भी पूछ सकता है. The interviewer can ask you anything because that is his or her playground. उसके पास पूरी authority है कि मेरा जो मन करेगा मैं वो पूछूंगा. But sometimes if you're posed with a question and you don't know the answer, for example, आपसे किसी ने पूछा what is the difference between effect and affect, आपको answer नहीं पता, then clearly tell the interviewer that, sir, this is something I don't have much knowledge about, but I shall surely get back to you soon, or I will do my research on the same. So don't say I don't know the answer, sir, or don't go blank. Just answer confidently and tell the interviewer, sir, this is something on which I have very limited knowledge. I shall study about it and do my research on the same. Then don't think, see, interview, when I take interview, I also ask a lot of questions which are like out of the box or very random. Why? Because it's my choice. It's my area. It's my playground. I can ask anything. Sometimes I do ask my teachers who come for an interview, what is the correct spelling of ma'am? And they are unable to answer it. They say it's M-A-M, ma'am, when it is M-A-apostrophe-A-M. So it might not be related to any interview, but this is what I wanted to ask. So this is like a gamble. Interview is like a gamble. You can be asked anything. But how you choose to answer it is what is important. इंटरव्यू में आपसे कुछ भी कहीं से भी पूछा जा सकता है, पर उस सिचुएशन को आप कैसे हैंडल करते हो is what is going to make you stand out from the rest. So if you're asked a very random question, you don't know an answer of, आपने बहुत सोचा, आपने उनसे ये तक बोला, let me think about it, but you still can't find an answer, tell them very confidently that I have limited knowledge on the particular subject. Okay. I'll try to speak more in Hindi. मैं हिंदी में भी बात करती हूँ. How do you respond to criticism? How to answer questions like, haven't you worked upon it, or first time did you make mistake before that? Okay. जितना इंटरव्यू में आप लोग कोशिश करोगे to be very true and to be very frank, you will go a long way. बातें कम बनाना is one of the key of clearing an interview. So for example, अगर आपसे ये पूछा जाता है इंटरव्यू में that कि there's one question that the participant has asked, how do you respond to criticism, and did you make a mistake? Yeah, correct. So if you're asked that, if you criticized कि आपका काम पहले इतना अच्छा नहीं है, आपके रेज्यूमे और सीवी के हिसाब से आपने पहले बहुत ज्यादा काम नहीं करा है, तो मैं आपको कैसे हायर कर लूं? So when it comes to that, how do you answer such questions? So you tell them that, sir, I completely agree. I agree that my resume does not reflect that I have worked a lot before this, but I have to start somewhere. And this is where I want to start. I have an urge to work hard, to study, and to be a valuable asset to the company. There is always a first to a lot of things, and this is my first. If I convert this answer in Hindi, I would like to say that, sir, मैं समझती हूँ इस बात को कि मेरे पुराने CV और resume में इतना कुछ नहीं है जो ये दिखाता है that I have worked a lot या मैंने बहुत जगह काम करा है, लेकिन that is why I have come to you. हर चीज का एक first होता है. You always start at some point of time, and now I want to start. So it's never too late to start. You were never born with skills. You acquire skills. पैदा होती तो नहीं हो जाता ना. These are the things that you got to put in your CV. You gain experience. How will you gain experience? How will you gain experience? By actually working. When you will work, that will add up to your experience. So you tell the recruiter, so I need to work to have experience. And if you give me this opportunity, you will give me a platform to learn, so that in future I'm not asked this question. So criticism, deal with it strongly. Criticism, don't think that they're trying to suppress you, they're trying to test you. They're trying to see how do you actually surpass that situation. That is very important. Now, on the other hand, if you're asked questions like, did you make mistake before it and in your previous job, be very true. ऐसी कोई job नहीं है जिसमें आपने कोई पहले गलती ना करी हो, that you were perfect. So you tell them. So when I was working with AZB and partners, I've had miserable times because there were so many things that I was doing for the very first time. So you tell them that, sir, mistakes are a part of our life. Of course, I've committed mistakes, but I have learned from them. Mistakes I have done on professional level, I try not to repeat them again. In Hindi, if we do that, it clearly means that, sir, of course मैंने बहुत गलतियां करी है, पर लेकिन उन गलतियों से कुछ सीखा है और कोशिश ये करी है कि जो गलतियां मैंने अपनी काम में करी है वो मैं दोबारा से उस काम से रिलेटेड रिपीट ना करूं. But it would be wrong to say that I have not committed any mistake. Of course I have committed. I'm human. अगर आपको बोलोगे no, my work was perfect, I've not done anything, I've not done any mistake, then the recruiter would know that you're lying, because that is not possible. It is just not possible. Okay. Where do you see yourself after 5 to 10 years? Now, everyone out there, listen to the answer of this question very carefully. This is one question that is often asked. Where do you see yourself in another 5 to 10 years? Now remember, whenever you apply to a company, हर company की एक hierarchy होती है, ठीक है? If we see the legal background में सबसे पहले आप hire होते हो as an associate, फिर आप senior associate बनते हो, फिर आप principal associate बनते हो, then you become a partner. Okay, So first year associate, second year, after 4 years, you become a senior associate, 5 years principal associate, and after 8 years, you become a partner. So when I go to a law firm and they ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Then I would know that in my profession, law as a profession में 5 साल बाद जो पोजीशन एक लॉयर को मिलती है वो मिलती है प्रिंसिपल एसोसिएट की. तो मेरा आंसर क्या होगा? वो that in the next 5 years, I see myself as a very smart, confident, hardworking, and well settled principal associate. Similarly, if you're applying to an MNC or to a company, to any company, then figure out कि उनकी हायरार्की क्या होती है. मैनेजर बनते हो, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर बनते हो, सीनियर मैनेजर बनते हो, सीईओ बनते हो, whatever. And then you see, अच्छा ठीक है, 5 years में जाके this is the position which people generally get. So if you're asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Tell them that I see myself as a senior project manager of the company, of a multinational corporation in another 5 years. And they ask you, why? Why do you see yourself like that? You tell them, because that is the hierarchy. That is the hierarchy a company follows. As per the normal standards of your company and as per the normal standards of a multinational corporation, if started on a correct time, a person or an employee is to become a senior project manager after 5 years of their job. And that is where I see myself. So this is what you answer. Don't give a generic answer that after 5 years, I see myself as a very strong and confident person. No. जिस जॉब के लिए आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो, उस जॉब में अप्लाई करने से पहले आप उस जॉब की हायरार्की समझेंगे कि क्या लेवल्स है. सो इफ यू आर हायर्ड एज एन असिस्टेंट मैनेजर, तो 5 साल बाद जो पोजीशन होती है वो क्या होती है. That is where you see yourself after 5 or 10 years. And that is how you answer this question. Then I'm worked out for a stream and I will work for my stream, and you ask me for change stream, and then what will be the wise answer? See, I did go through this recent education policy that has come into picture, and you would see that the government wants people to experiment. So you tell them, when asked that now अभी तक तो आप इस stream में काम कर रहे थे, अब आपको दूसरी stream में काम करना है, why do you want to make a shift? You clearly tell them that, sir, these are my formative years. You know what are formative years? Formative years are जब आप form हो रहे हो. Those are your formative years. So you tell them that, sir, these are my formative years. In my formative years, I want to gain as much experience as possible in different fields, so that after some time, I'm sure as to what I am good at and I choose to do that. In normal language, if we say कि जो फॉर्मेटिव इयर्स हैं या जो शुरुआती दिन है, मैं उसमें जितना एक्सपेरिमेंट करना चाहता हूँ काम से लेके, मैं वो करूंगा देखने के लिए कि मैं किस चीज में सबसे ज्यादा अच्छा हूँ और सबसे ज्यादा मैं एक्सपीरियंस गेन करना चाहता हूँ इनिशियली, सो दैट मेरे पास एक बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस हो, एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली आई विल चूज कि मुझे क्या करना है. सो चेंज ऑफ स्ट्रीम इज नॉट समथिंग रॉन्ग. You clearly tell them you are changing your stream because you want to experiment, you want to learn more. आप अपने formative years में ज्यादा से ज्यादा सीखना चाहते हो. That is the reason you want to learn more. So that is one thing that you can obviously tell them. 10 questions and you answer 2 or 1, then in case what if you're asked 10 questions and you only answer 2 and 1 question, it all depends on the interviewer. And I'm sure this is very less. You should be able to answer a lot of questions. Don't be so low on confidence. Prepare well, you will be able to answer more. What if we select you? How would you make a difference? What a brilliant question. So if they ask you that, now you're selected and how would you make a difference? So you tell them, so you will have in your team someone who has an experience in a particular field. I will be putting down whatever experience I have gained in this new role, which will ultimately lead to the growth of the team and of the company. And you will have an employee who will be an asset to the company. How? Because I have a very strong urge to learn. So you tell them कि अगर आप मुझे hire करते हैं, then I will be a very good asset to the company. Why? Because I'm going to work very hard. Also because जो भी आपकी requirements मैं उसको fulfill करता हूँ. आपके पास एक ऐसा जना आ रहा है जिसके पास experience है और मैं अपना अब तक का experience आपकी job में लगाऊंगा तो company और team दोनों को फायदा होगा. That is something that you can answer. What if we are weak in English language? Can we ask for Hindi during interview? You must. You tell them that, sir, if you permit, can I please answer the question in Hindi? I'm more, don't say confident, but say I am more comfortable in speaking in Hindi. तो आप उनको बोलो, clearly बोलो. See, I'm telling you, even if मैं किसी का interview ले रही हूँ, until unless मुझे कोई ऐसी position के लिए चाहिए जिसमें मुझे English required है, मैं जब किसी का इंटरव्यू लेती हूँ तो मैं उसकी देखती हूँ that what person the like skills the person has, not whether he can speak in Hindi or English. Because अगर आप कंप्यूटर पे काम कर रहे हो, if you're a project manager, I would need your skills and not your speaking skills. They are important, but at the same time your other skills are important too. So if you're weak in English and you think कि मैं अपना point of view हिंदी में ज्यादा better तरीके से present कर पाऊंगा या कर पाऊंगी, then please tell the interviewer when asked questions that, sir, it's a request, can I please answer the question in Hindi because I'm more comfortable speaking in that language. Questions like, how much do you think we can pay you, how to respond to such never state for your salary directly. Never say that, okay, if they ask you how much salary do you want, you're like, itne paise de dena. Don't do that. Always say, if you have worked before, so for example, agar aap apni previous job mein you were earning 20,000 per month, then you say that, sir, in my resume, I have stated what I was earning in my previous job. I wish to have an increment on the same. So this is how you put it indirectly. Meaning, sir, last job I was getting 20, this time I'm expecting 30, to aap doge. People do that. Don't do that. So you talk to them. Once you are hired, you will get all the time to negotiate your salary. But during an interview, talking things like that doesn't make sense. So if you're asked, how much salary are you expecting? How much should we pay you? You can say that, sir, I'm expecting a hike from my previous salary. And if it is your first job, and if you do not have any previous experience, पहली job है आपकी, आपको कितने पैसे मिलेंगे, then you tell them. How do you tell them? Then you tell them that, sir, I'm expecting a good pay from your end that is prevalent as per the industry standards. या फिर जो उस position के लिए एक अच्छी pay होती है, मैं at least वो expect कर रही हूँ. And if you're doing it for the first time, you can always say that, considering you're being in the industry, you would know well how much, but don't state the amount because that gives a very bad impression. Should we share unsure answers to any questions? If you're very unsure, for the sake of speaking, don't speak. ये नहीं कि बोलना ही है, आंसर देना ही है तो बस बोलते रहो. Don't do that. Always try to give answers which are very crisp. और अगर आपको किसी क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं पता, थोड़ा सा बोल के उसके बारे में चुप हो जाओ and just tell the interviewer that, sir, I'll get back to you or I'll do my research on it. Should we ask when interview ask any questions if you had to live with if after an interview you are asked, do you have any questions? Always ask a question. Do not say no, I don't have any question, because technically आपके पास बहुत questions है. One of the most basic question that you can ask is, जब आपको कुछ समझ नहीं आता और आपसे इंटरव्यू पूछता है, do you have any questions for me, then you can ask is that, sir, if hired, can you tell me with which team I will be working, or how many members are going to be there in my team, and or what will be the working hours, sir? Or you can say, where will I be stationed? Where will be my office? Is it going to be the head office or any other branch? You can always ask for questions when you are asked, do you have any question for the interviewer? If you had to live with your life over again, what one thing would you change? See, there's no end to these kind of questions, but if you're asked this question, then you must answer like according to yourself. If you if you ask me that what would be that one life that you would live again, then I would just say anything that I would say that I would have opted for a more healthy lifestyle or for a more healthy working environment. But answer these questions are fun. People do answer it, but answer these questions. How to negotiate for salary and how to know our value. You know your value in your head. So, and when it comes to negotiation of salary, यार आप अगर आप इंडस्ट्री में बहुत टाइम से हो, दैट गिव्स यू द लिबर्टी टू नेगोशिएट योर सैलरी. पर अगर आप अभी शुरुआत आपने करी है, तब आप ऐसे सैलरी नेगोशिएट नहीं कर सकते. Shall we ask for X% hike? You can state that, but I would say avoid. अगर आपकी सैलरी पहले 20,000 है और आपको लग रहा है मुझे कम से कम 20% हाइक मिलना चाहिए, you can state that, sir, if ask कि आपको कितनी सैलरी चाहिए, you can say that, sir, earlier I was getting 20,000 per month. I'm now expecting at least a hike of 20%. But मैं बताती हूँ इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है कि what if आपकी कंपनी आपको 20% से ज्यादा हाइक देने को तैयार है. अब आप उनको बोल दो 20%, को कहेंगे तो बढ़िया है, हम तो 30 दे रहे थे, now this person is saying 20, हम 20 देंगे. So पहले आप बोलो that I'm expecting a hike. जब वो बोले कि कितना हाइक, तब आप बोलो 20%, पर पहले से खुद से मत बोलो. Because what if they want to give you more hike and you already tell them नहीं मुझे तो 20% चाहिए. वो the recruiters going to think, अरे यार, I was thinking I'm going to give 30%, but this person only wants 20% hike. So that is how you have to be very smart. Can we ask a question like, is there any other vacancy? No. It's not a good question to ask. You can ask this question only to the HR अगर आप पहले उस job से reject हो गए हो तो. आप एक job में लगे नहीं हो and then you ask about the other job. That's not right. Okay, now pushing some Q&As towards the end. The few things that I would like to discuss more. Interview etiquette. Now, apart from how to answer questions and everything, leave them apart. When you're going for an interview, सबसे important चीज होती है आपकी personality. The moment you enter the premises of an interview place, you have to conduct yourself very well. You have to present yourself very well. Number one, dress appropriately. To all the girls present there, please avoid caking up your face, doing a lot of makeup. It looks very bad. Even if you're very good at it, it is not fit for the occasion. Do not wear very high heels or weird clothes. Just dress smart. Dress very well. Look smart. Present your personality on the table, but not too much of your personality on the table. Dark lipsticks, straightened hair, curled hair, these things don't look nice. These things don't go well in an interview. Just be simple. Just look how you're going to look for the rest of your time in office. ऐसा नहीं है first day you're looking all glamorous and then after you start working and they're like, अरे ये कौन आ गया, ये तो वो था ही नहीं जिसका मैंने interview लिया था. So just be simple and nice. To all the boys present there, being formal is the key. When you're appearing for an interview, you have to dress appropriately, formally. If you're wearing the suit, make sure that your cufflinks are there, your tie is properly placed, and everything is prim and proper. Remember, when you go for an interview, do not fix your clothes when you enter the premises. पहले से ही ready होकर आना है. Even if you have to wait for an hour, you can use the washroom. But ऐसे बहुत लोग करते हैं कि वो इंटरव्यू के लिए आ गए, घुस गए and they're like, अभी तो इंटरव्यू में टाइम है, मैं थोड़ी देर बाद टाई पहन लूंगा, या फिर मैं थोड़ी देर बाद I'm going to wear my footwears, या थोड़ी देर बाद मैं अपनी वॉच पहन लूंगा. Don't do that, because the people start judging you the moment you enter the place of interview. So you have to be very, 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 very careful when it comes to that. Now, someone has asked me about the online interview etiquette. So recently I took an online interview, and so this girl was taking an interview. I was taking an interview, and I told this girl to please stand up. And apparently, she was wearing chappals, right? Even when you're giving an online interview, which is the thing right now, dress appropriately. Don't think I only have to focus on my upper part, which is visible. You have to be prim and proper from top to end. Because you never know कि आपके इंटरव्यूअर का क्या दिमाग घूमा और उन्होंने बोला कि खड़े हो and I want to see how what are you wearing? So I was talking to that girl and I told her that, are you wearing chappals? And she instantly said yes. And I just made a guess. So even when you're giving an online interview, dress appropriately, dress exactly how you would dress when you're going for an interview. Don't think I'm going to dress only as per this. Also, when you're giving an online interview, make sure of two things: appropriate lighting. The lighting has to be absolutely apt, proper internet connection has to be there, and the background needs to be clear. The background has to be very clear, no distracting substances to be there. So try to sit in front of a plain wall or in front of curtains so that there are very less distracting elements when you're giving an online interview. That is very important. Always keep a glass of water with you. Always try to be in a room which has very less noise. Don't try to move from there. So this is one of the key of giving online interviews. Another very important thing, that one very weird but very logical tip that I give to all the students who go for an interview: never eat or smoke right before an interview. Because trust me, when you eat something fresh and then immediately you go for an interview, when you smoke and you go for an interview, it gives a very bad impression. It gives a very, very bad impression to the interviewer, because the interviewer thinks that, you are not someone with a good civic sense. You might not know, you might burp in front of the interview or something. So avoid eating anything right before an interview. Okay, you can have some beverage, but avoid eating anything or smoking right before an interview, because you have to smell good. You have to present a very beautiful persona and aura when you enter the interview place. Now, considering there are going to be interviews in times of the COVID, always and always ensure that you carry a sanitizer, you carry your own water bottle, and like a decent looking water bottle, but an own sanitizer, when small sanitizer, when you go for an interview. These are the basic things. Make sure that your hair is like absolutely neat. Even if you're waiting for 1 hour or for hours, make sure you conduct yourself in best possible manner, because you never know that people might be scrutinizing you. पहले ही बहुत जगह इंटरव्यू पहुंच जाते हैं, दिस पर्सन इज नॉट कंडक्टिंग हरसेल्फ और हिमसेल्फ वेल, इनको आप हायर मत करना. So you have to conduct yourself well the moment you enter the interview place. That is a very, very important thing. Yeah, okay. Um, Etiquette for online interviewer. How can we, what is ATS? So basically it's some kind of a software, automatic tracking software. उसमें क्या होता है, टेल यू, अ लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज जो बहुत ज्यादा वैकेंसीज निकालती हैं, वो एक एक सॉफ्टवेयर अपने पास रखती हैं. तो जब आप अपना सीवी उनको सबमिट करते हो, वो सीवी उस सॉफ्टवेयर पे रन करती हैं, और उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स की जो जो चीजें होती है, वो वर्ड्स जो होते हैं, वो सॉफ्टवेयर ट्रैक कर लेता है. जिस सीवी में वो वाले वर्ड सबसे ज्यादा होते हैं, वो सीवी शॉर्टलिस्ट हो जाते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज ऑल अबाउट. तो अगर आपको एटीएस में अपना सीवी या रेज्यूमे क्वालिफाई कराना है, तो जो कंपनी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन निकालती है, उसमें जो वर्ड यूज करती है, वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा अपने आप सीवी और रेज्यूमे में वर्ड्स डालो, सो दैट जब वो सॉफ्टवेयर पे रन करेगी, आपके सीवी में आ जाएगा, अच्छा ठीक है, हमारी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन के कम से कम 20 वर्ड्स हैं इसके सीवी में, तो आपका सीवी शॉर्टलिस्ट हो जाएगा. That is what it is. Etiquette for online interview. How can we crack online interview? I've told you how you have to conduct yourself for an online interview. Exactly think like you're sitting in a formal interview environment. And I would suggest, अगर आपको interview अच्छा जाता है, then always request to meet the interviewer in person. Tell them, sir, I would like to meet you. Question like, why do you want to switch your domain, like in tech companies, from testing to development domain? Obviously, first thing, use this line everywhere. I want to learn as many skills as possible in my formative years. I want to gain as much experience as possible in my formative years, so that I become a person with a lot of experience and I'm able to do my job well. How much project matter in interview? I've told this before also. It does matter, and it depends on the job you're applying. If you're applying in a job जिनका project बहुत important part है, तो project matter करता है. What if they ask for any limitations? How do you tell them in a positive way? Asking for any limitation is basically asking for your weakness. So weakness, आप अपनी strength को weakness बनाओगे, and you tell them, पहली बात तो don't say I don't have any weakness or limitation. Tell them that I do have. I do have certain limitations on my working. Number one, I don't like to work very late because it reduces my productivity. Tell them very clear and tell them I do not like to I multitask a lot, and sometimes I think that is a problem. So be very true and positive way में कैसे कि एक अच्छाई को कैसे आपने उसको बुराई बना दिया. So it's a very good thing कि आप multitask करते हो, but at the same time you think कि कभी-कभी मैं इतना multitask कर लेता हूँ that is sometimes a problem with me. What to answer if they ask, do you have any questions? Ask questions always, like which team would I be working with, how many members are going to be there in my team, what will be the working hours. Don't ask like kab chutti hogi and how many off I'm going to get. No, ask about the working environment. So can you describe the working environment of your company, or can you describe something about the team that if hired I will be working with. Can you describe about certain basic code of conduct of the company. Can you, sir, tell me about how many employees work under you? Or, sir, can you tell me about some of your great experiences? Things like that. How is working from home going on, or how Corona is treating you? Okay, so you have to be very true to this answer. Okay, so if asked how's work from home going on, so you have to say things like, it has been a very big shift because I'm a person who likes to work in my office environment, and considering now working from home has its own perks and downfalls, and I wish to go back to an office environment to do the work. How is Corona treating you? Corona is treating everyone very bad. It's not treating anyone good. So you can say that Corona pandemic is one of the most unpredictable thing that has happened to the world, and it is not treating the world very well. It is very difficult for us to look for jobs, to find jobs, but at the same time I am trying my best to adjust to the required standards. मतलब हम अपनी तरफ से एम्प्लॉय पूरी तरफ से कोशिश कर रहा है कि वो जो भी उसका एम्प्लॉयर बोले उस हिसाब से काम करे. I missed the first part. Can you explain the detailed difference in CV and resume? Okay, one more time, I'm telling you. The difference between CV and resume. CV is a detailed description of your achievements. Okay, so when you're in college, आप CV बनाते हो, आप सब कुछ लिखते हो. Resume is a short description of your profile. आपने एक जगह जॉब कर ली, अब आपको दूसरी जगह जॉब शिफ्ट करनी है, तो आप resume बनाते हो और सिर्फ छोटा छोटा लिखते हो 1 पेज का या max 2 पेज का about the job. Why are you leaving the previous company? Now, the reason why you are leaving your previous company, never say, number one, anything bad about your previous company. Always put it on the growth aspect. So you tell them that there are two things. Okay. The reason why I'm leaving my previous company is because I felt that I should have been elevated to this particular position of the company, but that still hasn't happened. I feel that as per my own aim, I feel that there is a little limitation on my growth. So ऐसे करके बोलो. In short, you can say कि उस कंपनी में मुझे लगता है अब तक मुझे उस पोजीशन पे जाना चाहिए था, बट वो लोग मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं दे रहे हैं जो अपॉर्चुनिटी मुझे आपकी कंपनी के साथ मिल सकती है. इसलिए मैं अपनी that's the reason why I'm leaving my previous company. Okay, there's so many questions, but we're a little less on time. I'm taking a screenshot of these questions. I'll answer them on my page and make a video for all of you. You can shoot down more questions if you have. There's one. Can you please answer? I'm preparing for CMA articleship. Can you tell me something about how to go about the interviews? Smriti, I would request you to directly get in touch with me on my page. Okay, now to everyone who is here, प्लीज लिसन टू मी केयरफुली. आप इंटरव्यू को कैसे प्रिपेयर करते हो, उसके आंसर कैसे करते हो, बहुत डिपेंड करता है कि आप किस फील्ड में अप्लाई कर रहे हो. इन दिस 1 hour आई एम ओनली एबल टू शेयर टिप्स विद यू जो बहुत जनरल टिप्स है जो हम हर कैटेगरी में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. लेकिन इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक टिप्स, जैसे अभी स्मृति आस्क्ड मी दिस क्वेश्चन या और भी लोगों ने पूछा प्रोजेक्ट रिलेटेड या कुछ, वो क्वेश्चन आई नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड योर जॉब प्रोफाइल टू आंसर कि आपको एग्जैक्टली क्या चाहिए. सो टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट, प्लीज just approach me on my page. I provide the service of going through your CV completely, framing questions out of it, and helping you to find an answers. I also take telephonic consultation on how you can crack an interview, on how I can help you crack an interview. I can only share basic tips with you today, but if you have any specific question, like Smriti asked or others are asking, please, just my Instagram handle at Let's Be Eloquent. Just shoot that question to me, and um I'll share the answer with you. Number one, another thing, how should be the fresher's resume or CV? Freshers have a CV because you give a detailed description. What are you doing to overcome your weakness? I'm trying. Firstly, I need to realize my weakness and then try. All these questions, do internship matters for the interview or to get for everyone out there? If you are a fresher, if you're starting out for a job, internships are indispensable part. What does indispensable means? You cannot get away from them. You have to intern. Do your internships very well. There's a lot that I could speak on this particular topic. You can go to my page and find more lectures on the same. But if you wish to take any private class on how to clear an interview or anything related to your CV, so for example, if you think that I want specific answers related to my industry or profession, please approach me on my page and I'll help you with that. But all these generic questions, if I missed any, just send them on my page and I'll answer all the questions. I'll try to answer all the questions by evening. Research papers also matter a lot. They do matter a lot. In legal background, of course, they do. But I think right now we're running a little short on time. So is Mehak here, or who else is here? My page details, I'm going to share my page details with you. It's simple. It's Let's Be Eloquent. Just go and follow this page, and you can always and always send me whatever queries you have. If you want, it's like, for example, if you have an interview after 2 days and you're like, mujhe nahi samajh aa raha how to prepare, I take telephonic consultations and I can help you with your interview. I've done it a lot, and people have cleared interview in companies like Deloitte and KPMG. So if you're ever worried that I don't know how to prepare, there's just one day left for an interview, just send me a DM on my page. We will have telephonic consultation and we can do it. I don't share my phone number here. The only way to approach me is on my page, and then I will share my number and details with you. I'm not on LinkedIn. So the thing is that managing things on my Instagram is a lot. So I'm not on LinkedIn. But Instagram is one place you can approach me anytime. For all the and for everyone who's over here, if you just mention that you attended the Mitti Ke Rang masterclass, or just mention that when you are messaging me on my Instagram page, and I shall give you a great combination offer of all the services that are given when it comes to clearing an interview. You can also, when it comes to preparation for an interview, for example, agar aapka kal interview hai and you need help, I can also help you with framing all the questions and their basic answers. I've helped a lot of students clear fellowships and everything. And that is what I strive to do every day, to make sure that, I'm able to help students in some way or possible. Sites online where we can generate professional CV. Please don't generate professional CV. Please do it yourself. I have done a very extensive webinar on how you can frame a CV. If you have any problem in drafting your CV, again, please come to my page and talk to me. I'll help you with everything. So if you have anything related to professional conduct, CV, resume, interview, just send me a DM on my page and I will help you out. Because it requires a lot. Please do not opt for any websites to for your CV. Do it yourself. Draft it on Word first. Don't make it look fancy. Fancy CVs are not in. You think Canva and all can help you make a fancy CV, but they're actually not in. So thank you so much. I hope my page details are clear. Mitti Ke Rang, thank you so much for having me. You girls are amazing. And I must tell everyone that I've never seen so much of great enthusiasm from on part of the organizing team. They have taken so much pain and effort for the registration of this workshop, and I hope I was able to do justice. You all are very, 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 very hardworking girls. Make sure that you continue to do so. And if ever you need any help from my end, I shall always be available. Thank you so much for having me. Okay, so should I can I have some come one from, is it Mehek? Mehek, you there?
Ma'am, Sakshi here.
Sakshi. Sakshi, thank you so much. You girls were amazing.
Thank you, ma'am. It was great having you.
I'm in complete awe of the amount of efforts you had put in to get the registration, those amazing videos and very good creatives. Very well done. If ever given a chance, I shall definitely try and we will meet in person.
Sure, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It was
The
great.
most of you. And just share my Instagram handle with others because there's so many questions I'm yet to answer. They can just send me those questions on my page and I'll answer them all.
Yes, sure, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
Okay, all of you have a great, great, great weekend and have lots of fun. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.